Battle control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. Good news everyone! You remember the series that I casted between Juicebox and Happy for the Master Qualifiers? Well, that was not the actual Master Qualifiers. From what I found out, I was oblivious to the fact that there is in fact a second leg of the Qualifiers. And that kind of makes sense, because there are two minions, or recruits divisions, sorry. And those two recruits divisions each have their own path to Masters, and at the end, their roads are gonna fork or cross. And this is exactly what's happening here. So Juicebox, the victor, emerging victorious in the brothers duel versus his younger brother Happy, is now facing off against Blackened, the winner of the second leg of the qualifiers. And this is the actual match for Masters. So we're kicking it off on Keep Off the Grass with Team Fir Tree versus Team, I don't know, Lime Tree, I guess. And Team Lime Tree taking the first engagement here. Blackened with a little bit of rifle infantry versus Juicebox's man spam. A full-on man spam. Double ref, I wager. Yes, double ref coming online shortly. And let's talk about a few things while this slow early game is kicking off here. First off, big shoutouts to So Scared, who has agreed to, or he approached me, and he was like, yo, I wanted, once upon a time, he wanted to pitch a series of produced OpenRA shoutcasts to the Generous Gentleman, where he would do the video editing, and the Generous Gentleman would just do like the shoutcasting, the actual shoutcasting, no need for video editing. Generous Gentleman declined. However, now So Scared has approached me, and he was like, yo, you want to do this? And I was like, fuck yeah. So there's gonna be like a match of the month, edited by So Scared and commented by me. So great work by him. Big shout out to So Scared. In So Scared's honor, Juicebox is taking this engagement and slaughtering 6 riflemen of Blackened. Yeah. So there's gonna be a monthly shoutcast, a special shoutcast, edited and produced by So Scared, which is gonna feature all the good stuff, you know, everything I want. Ooh, Rocket Soldier getting caught. Everything I want in a shoutcast, which it's really hard to achieve because it's really time consuming. Like, for example, production bars, or fancy video editing, a map preview, map introduction, player introduction, all the good stuff. So yeah, stay tuned and subscribe to So Scared's Twitch channel, because he's live streaming. He's now live streaming every Sunday. He has switched up his schedule starting this week. I was unaware myself. So anyway, let's focus on the game at hand. Double ref sell for Juicebox, and you can see that the War Factory opener by Blackened paid off, because he's on 1.5 harvesters ahead. He's on 4.5 versus the only 3 of Juicebox. So he's been opting for a faster economical growth here. But Juicebox obviously is making up for it by having a huge field presence with those rifle imps and with the man spam. But the thing is, he hasn't really utilized it. He has just been sitting there. Blackened, by the way, yep. Blackened is someone who loves taking to Radar Dome. Bit of a risky move. The MCV is moving out to the first natural expansion, and he doesn't have a service depot to back this up, so this is all eggs in one basket. If he loses either the main base or the expansion MCV, he's gonna be toast. So let's see how this pans out, because Juicebox is doing the exactly right move. He is scouting this, and the mobile flag by Blackened is tackled immediately. Meanwhile, the mobile flag by Juicebox is in a perfect position to just scout, and that's a complete wipe of the army. Nothing here in the way that could stop the army from Juicebox getting onto the MCV. I think there is enough reinforcements to... Yeah, okay, the flame tower is gonna deter the push, but this has inflicted some significant damage upon the forces of Blackened, who is now completely out of an army and doesn't even have vehicles to boot. He's got 2 V2 rockets, which he needs to introduce into the battlefield very shortly, momentarily. He's been under a lot of pressure, and this is looking good for Juicebox so far. Assets dead on even. Combat tab slightly favoring Blackened. So still, the game is still open, but here is an actual expansion for Juicebox. Here's the question: is he gonna go and take the expansion, or is he just gonna fuck shit up? My money is on fucking shit up. He's gonna base push this, isn't he? Well, that's somewhere in between. That's a middle ground. Nope. Reconsiders. He's going for the main base, and I think Blackened is waiting on the Is he waiting on the airfield? No, he's going for a rev. There is a V2 rocket. He's got a rocket in his pocket here. He's Blackened. Oh yeah. And the flame tower immediately has to say something about this. The base push is on. And the V2 gets taken out. If he had just reacted faster, Blackened would have been in a better position. Because he would have been able to whittle down the con yard. But as it stands, he is being confronted with a massive push here. The V2 rockets unfortunately being wasted at power plant. And there is a 10-second reload timer. Reload delay. Oh, Blackened already pulling the goalies. 3 harvesters going on a rampage, but the crushes are not good enough. And the V2 rockets are all dead. So this is looking to be a stifling victory for Juicebox here. Some good crushes, but now the rockets are being let loose onto the economy. Being let loose to rampage through this. Blackened is trying for a desperate counterattack. Desperate times call for desperate measures here. And this little dispatch of infantry coupled with his original MCV for a base push. But I can't see this going anywhere but Juicebox's favor. He's got a heavy tank as well. And Juicebox pulling the goalies as well. I'm not sure. He has an MCV here. He could just deploy turret after turret. Good crushes. Very good. The economy is still standing strong. 5 harvesters. Neither of them got taken low. And the focus fire just wasn't there for Blackened. He did not focus one of the Autrax down. So Juicebox's harvesters are all escaping. All but one, I guess. Nope, going back in. Oh! Some more juicy crushes. The heavy tank doing its best to just soak damage, soak fire. And he could actually pull those back onto the line. I would like to see that. Some rocket soldiers being deployed and tackling the service depot. This is gonna force Juicebox into a transition to APCs. Maybe he's gonna lose the war factory, but I doubt he will. And just so much tanking power. The single heavy tank has held the line for at least a minute. And the original army that was used to wipe the base is coming back. They're gonna wipe away the depth here, and they're gonna tackle the MCV, tackle the scattered forces by Blackened. And this is looking to be a 1-0 for Juicebox. Like, hands down. This is looking pretty over. Not a single harvester has been lost by Juicebox, and they're slowly regenerating as well. So keep that in mind. That's the value of having an actual MCV in your main base as opposed to the cheesy original MCV move out by Blackened. And the Raider Dome got wiped, so Blackened has just... Oh wow, he's got... No, the Juicebox's harvester. So Juicebox on 6 harvesters. 6 harvesters over 3. And he just can't keep up. There is also the expansion MCV that is probably going to deploy another refinery if he finds the time. Blackened not looking too good anymore. The heavy tanks are going down, but it doesn't matter. What does it matter? The war factory is still standing strong. He doesn't produce anything right now. He's not producing from the factory. Curious choice. But now the rifle spam is starting to overwhelm Blackened here. Juicebox taking this game, taking a first leg up in the series, I'd say. Yeah, force is overwhelming. Good force fire by Juicebox as well, just singling out the rifles. And knowing that nothing else can come out of this other than the flame towers. And Blackened undeploying too late. It's all over but the crying. The last barracks still standing strong. Harvester has not gone down. Those harvesters have sure been resilient from Juicebox. That's actually fairly impressive. And he's going back in, finding some more crushes. He is indeed. That's the last 2 rifle infantry. Boom, GG. What a fantastic opener to the series. The base push by Juicebox completely catching Blackened off guard. Sorry, I'm getting those names mixed up. Completely catching Blackened off guard. And a 7 harvester and a 6 harvester economy at the end. 5, 6, 7. Over 3 harvesters, it just wasn't meant to be. The cheese play didn't pay off. Combat tab looking strongly in Juicebox's favor. Yep, and with this in mind, we're gonna jump into game 2 momentarily.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
The Pit Fight is the map of choice for game number 2 in the series between Juicebox and Blackened. It's a best of 5, remember. So if you're losing game 1, don't be flustered, don't give up just yet. Juicebox is in a commanding position, but Blackened can always pull it back here. Pit Fight, one of those maps that is very prone to very prone to sneak attacks, because those ridges block off. Like if your opponent is managing to squeeze a platoon through here, the reinforcement path for you is completely cut off, and you can get caught off guard, like having your army here and feeling like this is close to the base, right? But then a sudden platoon emerges from like here or here, and you're like, well, I'm out of position. Fuck. This is one of the most punishing maps on positioning, and that's why I like it. It incentivizes scouting a lot. And also the one oil derrick, it's of questionable use here. Because the engineer, 500 credits in the early game, sure, it's gonna pay for itself over the lifetime of the game, obviously. But this is very easy to snipe. And an engineer is 500 in the early game. Like 500 credits in the early game are worth more than 500 credits like in the late game where you're floating like 2k or something. Because in the early game you have to be really stingy and really think about what you're building instead of just spamming. Unless you're Juicebox, because he's just queued up 15 rifles at least. At the very least. Double ref leads me to believe that's double ref. Double ref for both this time around, and Blackened switching up his style. He's also going for the hospital. Not a good idea, because Juicebox is someone who tends to just keep his forces all together, clustered up. And this doesn't lend itself very well to heads-on engagements. As you can see here from Blackened, who is just streaming in his rifle infantry one by one. I don't know, this was a bad call. And yeah, some cutesy force fire micro is gonna at least deter the forces a bit. But Juicebox has seen that it's just one rifleman, so... Executed! There we go. This is, by the way, the unrevised version of Pit Fight. Oh, and we're seeing a cheeky breaky grenadier squad here. How many are you gonna be? That's exactly the flank attacks that I was worried about. But so was Juicebox, because he has stationed rifle infantry here, and the Grenadier squad is gonna meet an untimely end at the hands of the riflemen. Also an engineer by Blackened. Not sure what that is trying to capture. Like maybe it's just waiting for an MCV to pop. But that's a low percentage play. Let's just put it that way. More man spam here for Juicebox. Also a mobile flag, probably just for scouting vision purposes. Given that Juicebox is already here, you just snipe the forward command. It gives you a spot to deploy your MCV, and it gives you 200 credits in bounty, which is kind of odd because it's a civilian structure technically. But yeah, it gives you a cash rebate of 200. It's also got the hammer and sickle, I never noticed. It's got a huge hammer and sickle at the top of it. That's how you know it's a real commie building. Awesome. Both oil derricks being grabbed safely, and nothing else too crazy. Here's the Grand Squad. Yeah, that's not getting through. You know what? You could actually micro around this if he just knew. If only he knew. Little poke and prod here. Poke, prod, and scout by Juicebox. And the mobile flag of Blackened is getting the jump, so it should win the trade. Yes, by one ping, I guess. I don't know what those flag weapons are. So it sounds like a ping. Anyway, he could sneak his Grenadiers topside. You can actually walk on this tile above the trees. You can't walk on this one, but here you can. So the Grenadiers probably not gonna come into play, considering Blackened has scouted that there are rifle infantry stationed. But hey. And that's the Juicebox playstyle is lots of infantry and at least one MCV to boot. And the MCV, unlike other players, where they're usually just expanding with their MCV, like as Blackened is doing here, I bet you Juicebox is gonna like deploy in the face of Blackened. Let's see if it can catch him off guard. 6 harvester economy versus 4. That's actually a fairly bad economy. Economical start has been a bit lackluster here by Blackened. Seems like switching up his styles has also switched up his build order a bit. He's on 5 now with the deployment of the refinery. But that's still a bit less than Juicebox. Okay, Juicebox taking the safe expansion. That's unheard of. Is he producing heavy tanks from this though? We're gonna find out. That's something I'm really looking forward to when So Scared is publishing those pre-rendered videos for me to cast. Ooh, nice engineer snipe. Is that there is going to be a production bar, and I'm not going to have to press escape to check. I can already check at the top of the corner here, of the screen. A massive, massive infantry blob. Juicebox not fucking around. Juicebox is someone who will always have like an infantry force big enough to conquer the Normandy. All right, we're having the mobile flag by Blackened. Probably gonna get a read of the base here. Yeah. Mass barracks already being deployed. He's up to 5 racks. 5 racks over 2. So if you want to compete in the man spam, it's not looking good. Alright, gets a really good read of the base here. Knows about the economical position, knows about the harvester positioning. Does know about the expansion as well. Or doesn't. Huh. Thought he would have scouted that with his push there, with the little infantry skirmish, but he didn't. And now there's gonna be the first heavy tank. That's the classic Juicebox. Juicebox or loader driver move. As soon as the first 1 or 2 heavy tanks are online, he's just gonna push in. He's probably gonna scout with the mobile flag, and that's a sacrificial goat here. That's just a pawn to sacrifice before the army goes in. Yeah, he sees that there is nothing much here. He's like, oh, a flame tower. That's great news. I've got a heavy tank. And that's the timing push that is so dreaded. It came from StarCraft. Yep. And flame towers are no match for this force here. Can maybe take down 1 or 2 at a time. And an immediate Tesla coil pop. Tesla coil immediately focusing the flame towers. This time it's not a flame tower. It's a full-on Tesla coil. You see how fast those are going down. And the heavy tanks from Blackened. He's not opted for a radar rush. This time a radar rush would have been very advisable for getting the juicy V2 hits with the stationary infantry play of Juicebox, but it's not in the cards. He's relegated to spamming heavy tanks, and the expansion is escaping. Yep, not gonna go down. So Juicebox wishes he would have the mobile flag for chase potential, but it's not in the cards. Blackened sacrificing a heavy tank. That was not a good heavy tank. And this map is looking like there's a lot of blue here and very, very little black. Blackened trying for a counter push. He's actually sniped the war factory. That's hilarious. But it's not gonna get any worse than this. The forces here are gonna get tackled as soon as the next flame tower pops, I'd wager. Nice split here. Blackened splitting off his rocket soldiers, but Fancy Micro is not gonna reimburse you for the loss of like 5 heavy tanks and an entire expansion. So it's not looking good for him, and here comes the main brunt of the force. Brunt of the force going in, looking for blood. 2 heavy tanks are all that's holding the line for Blackened. Juicebox in a very strong and commanding position. Good crushes. The first set of crushes was great. And now War Factory for War Factory, eye for an eye. That's how the Bible said. You know? Eye for an eye, War Factory for War Factory, and down goes the main base of Blackened. There's just no recourse here. He is lost. He can't compete with the man spam yet. He's lost his expansion, has lost his eco, and already a radar mob for Juicebox. Very decisive game 2. 9 minutes, almost 9 minutes. Pretty good. And Juicebox killing twice the assets that Blackened did, so very good game for him. What led to this? Mainly just the fact that Blackened got caught off guard 2 times by the base push all in, which is something that Juicebox is gonna play 99% of the times. I've played him a couple times, and if you're not ready for this, you just straight up lose. So anyway, on to game 3.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
And Winter Storm 2 is the name of the game here for round 3 between Blackened and Juicebox. We're having the factions Russia versus Russia, a Russia mirror. Awesome. I think they're both playing random, by the way. I didn't mention this at the start. And half a year ago, I would have said this is an awesome map choice. But now I've come to realize the errors of my ways, because I've played it against the MCV spammers who just lock down the map, and there are just not enough attack vectors to make this map, yeah, easy to defend. It's just too easy to defend here. Like, you lock down this here, and you're golden. Because there is this huge reach that prevents you from going into the main base. One thing I'd like, though, is what I really like is that you can deploy naval yards here and go for like a transport MCV or something, or grand transport if you want to get cheeky and cheesy. And the bridge in the middle has never provided a strategic value. I've never seen the games being decided over this here. It's a fantastic bridge, by the way. Fantastic piece of Soviet engineering artwork here. Awesome. It's just a bridge over the middle of nowhere instead of going around. Probably just it was that the central committee has said. Central committee said, "I want bridge." So I built bridge. It's pretty Soviet case of engineering here. Anyway, so we're gonna have Blackened opening up with double ref. Let's see. Oh, that seems like a war factory to me. That's a bit too slow to be double ref. 10 seconds and a triple ref for Juicebox. What the hell? What? I have never seen this build. Are you sure this is legit? Triple ref is okay. It allows you to man spam harder, but at the same time it's just not very efficient, because at the same time it could be getting out a war factory and rush out the vehicle, or get more eco, or just harder scaling. So this is basically a early to mid game strategy. Why don't they shoot the middle of the fence as well? One thing is that you reveal how many rifles you've got there, and if your opponent is paying close enough attention, he knows, oh shit, there is like 15 rifles firing at the fence. Or as Lurie puts it, waste of ammo. Alright. So, War Factory after double ref and ref cell for Blackened. And a triple ref for Juicebox. I think he just wants to man spam him down here. He has gotten a taste of what this feels like, and he has found out that Blackened is very prone to getting rushed by lots and lots of infantry. The swarm tactics of the Zerg proving very efficient here, providing a lot of strategic value. And Juicebox has always been someone who's been man spamming. I've never seen him take rush or anything, or I've rarely ever seen him go for a regular game where he doesn't just rely on mass infantry. Pretty sure he can do this though, but it's just not his preferred playstyle. He loves zerging it up. And good shots by the rifle infantry of Blackened, but they're just being overwhelmed. That's 25, I believe. I'm not doing the math right now. Fuck this. And one weakness of the strategy of Juicebox is he always has his entire army clustered up into one big bunch. And the weakness is flank attacks. So if Blackened were to be creative, it would just send an engineer here and decap the world derricks. Maybe just go for a flank attack. But flank attacks are hard on this map, and I think that's why Juicebox is playing it this way. And a V2 is out for Blackened. So V2 airfield, and the original MCV is going to be undeployed here. That's a risky move. He's doing it again. He's going to risk it for the biscuit. So Juicebox has just revealed his entire army composition, and there is so far not a single rocket soldier. Those are just streaming in as reinforcements. So far that's 30 rifles and 2 APCs. Third APC on the way. So the war factory is very late, and it just immediately starts mass producing APCs. Mass manufacturing here. And good crushes. So the flanks are safe, because this would be a nice cutoff for the reinforcement path. Oh, the force fire by Black, and the unnecessary force fire, just lighting a tree on fire and immediately revealing the army composition of Black. And holy shit, that's deafening my eardrums. And the Yak is out though, so that's a very good timing here for Blackened. The civilians are proving a very valuable distraction though. The civilians running around with their arms flailing, running into V2 rockets and not getting hit because they're just moving. Oh, this one just got... That's a waste of Soviet money, but there's... Oh, that's an expensive snipe. There was a 5 stack of rocket soldiers that V2 immediately making itself worth the investment. And wow, Juicebox has thrown away so much. He has just sacrificed 3 APCs to try and kill a V2 rocket, and the V2 rocket survived anyway. Another rocket soldier going down. What the hell? Another rocket soldier going down. What's with the force fire? Blackened has just killed one of his own V2s via force fire. I don't know. Is this a control key stuck or something? So he's got a 4-part army, a 5-part army composition now. The rifle infantry are gonna go in and A move. The rocket soldiers are gonna try and snipe armor. The V2 rockets are gonna try and find the best snipes on the infantry blob. That's a really micro-intensive composition. The Yak is gonna go ahead and scout. And then we've got the flak trucks who are gonna try and provide screening for the... Oh, good hit, good hit. Try and provide screening here. The MCV, the expansion MCV by Juicebox is taking a big chunk. And it's already looking good for Blackened here in this game. Gonna take another pass here. And the flak trucks try and give chase. Rip MCV. It wasn't meant to be. There was no space to deploy here. Blackened needs to eco-slide. It does indeed. Also needs to call his V2s to the front. The Yak is going back home to rearm, and another Yak is taking its place. A fantastic start for Blackened, who has barely lost anything here. Oh my god, 1200 under almost 12k. That's a factor of 10. That's seriously, that's a factor of 10. I've barely ever seen any games that were this decisive. So this might be the comeback for Blackened here into this qualifier series. He is scouting, and perfect timing on the construction yard. The construction yard goes up just in time to be scouted by the spy plane. And here we've got the V2s in the back lines. The rest of the death ball is still standing strong. Flak trucks being picked off, but that's not a big concern here because the V2s, the actual damage dealers, are still in the mix. And another set, another small force is trying and tackle the secondary expansion for Juicebox, who is just not getting a break here. Juicebox losing his MCV willy-nilly. That's the second MCV he has thrown away. And the forces are being cleaned up. Two more V2 rockets in the backlines. And the V2 rockets plus the Yak combo proving ever deadly. So efficient here. Should try and snipe the Conyard. Yeah. Moving out just in time to not get caught by the flame tower. Oh, disregard. Disregard. Having a change of mind here. And in comes a flak truck, but immediately being popped by the 2 Yaks. 2 Yaks could go ahead and finish the job that the V2 started. Oh, that's a bait here. Nice bait with the flak truck over the cliff. Was trying to find the snipe on the V2 rocket, but found a mobile flak himself. And an actual expansion MCV for Blackened, who has finally ticked up to Service Depot. The combat stats are a bit evened out now, but it's still looking fantastic for Blackened. Juicebox on a radar dome. You need V2s to compete with V2s. V2s or Yaks, that is. If you don't have either of those two mentioned, you're gonna be in for a rough time. He's deploying under a triple flame tower, but there's an army to back it up. I don't like the positioning by the Conyard. This is immediately gonna get flamed down. And the V2s wasted their rockets, so can't snipe the infantry blob here. Nice flak truck. Oh, beautiful. The flak truck by Juicebox picked off one of the V2 rockets and got the other one down low. Unfortunately, barely didn't find the snipe on the other one. Would have been in a better position that way. 2 Yaks going in and immediately taking down the secondary MCV. Juicebox has lost 3 MCVs so far, and it's just not looking good for him. He's also on 1 oil derrick. He's on 4 harvesters. An airfield, but I doubt the Yak is going to come out. He's calling GG, rightfully so. There was no way there was a comeback. No way, Jose. Yep, and that's the 2-1. So Blackened taking a stand here, putting his foot down and saying, "Not on my watch." As Juicebox's man spam is just being deflected. The waves of human waves being deflected by V2 shots this time around. Good stuff and very good micro this time around. Good unit preservation by Blackened. That was way better than game 1 and 2. So yeah, on to game 3. Can Blackened pull it back? We're gonna find out.
Battle control terminated.